Oki aniksi ei tohtsimju, istuanako knatu saakju. Amo ni dapo taki. Natui desksnima stukjopiu. Ni despum stahpi. Aniksi otapi sen opaka sena sitapiks. Oki aniksi mate tohtsimju ni daksapi we. Oki, my name is Annette Bruised Head. My Blackfoot name is Itsinika'si. I work with the Holy Spirit School Division. This year I am on secondment with the Martin Family Initiative. Blackfoot language to me is very important. As a child, I heard the language fluently from my grandparents, my parents, my aunts and uncles. Unfortunately, they were led to believe that the language was no longer useful to the young people, that the English language had become more important. So they worked very hard that I would speak English fluently. But in the meantime, they spoke Blackfoot fluently, and picking up on that and picking up on the commands and different aspects of hearing the language as a child in the home, I was able to understand it fluently. But I did struggle speaking it fluently. It wasn't until my later years, when I was in grade 7, I had the opportunity to be nominated to run for Indian Princess at our all-native high school, St. Mary's. And in that time, I went to visit my uncle, who is a well-known Blackfoot language instructor, writer. Anyway, he was part of my upbringing. And I went to visit him, and I said I wanted to write a speech and I wanted to speak the language. And at that time, he was already writing the language very fluently, and so he gave me this long passage of the language, and I was like, I could make out some sounds of the written aspect of the language, the linguistics, but not all of it. And I knew he got frustrated with me because I couldn't do it all, but there were sounds that I was able to, were very fluent for me. So anyway, long story short on that, I did win the Indian Princess. I did use some of the language, but I think it was at that point that I really wanted to learn the language as much as I could. And that year, I did have a Blackfoot language teacher, Lena Russell, who also taught us, but very simplistic. You know, this is a cat, this is a dog, these are animals, these are colors, these are numbers. So we really didn't go into conversational Blackfoot language learning. In grade 8, Nanastico Center was part of our high school, so we had a cultural program. And I remember Leo being my teacher at that point. He was a certified teacher, and he was part of Nanastico, but he was also a teacher, and so they would bring in elders to our classrooms. And we had various elders, but I remember one in particular because he was my grandfather, Muogakin, Pat Weaselhead. And he came in and he talked to us about our culture, about our language, and some of the things that really stuck out for me throughout my lifetime afterwards were we are different. We will always be different. We may live like everyone else, we may dress like everyone else, but the thing that keeps us unique is our language. And so that really inspired me, continued to inspire me. Tried to learn the language throughout high school. And then when I was graduating, there was a high school course that was just developed a curriculum, Blackfoot 15. So I had the opportunity to take that, and that is part of my high school credits. And then I did take some university classes, and one of them was Blackfoot 1000, again from Leo. So taking formal Blackfoot language was always part of my education. But again, I still heard it. My parents would encourage us at home to learn it. And it was later years in talking with my late grandmother, when my children were just young and the language was being brought into their school, I asked my grandmother, "Do you pray in our language?" And she kind of put her head down. She said, "No, but I wish I did." And so that was very inspirational to me. And then I became a teacher, and I was hired by the Holy Spirit School Division because of the Blackfoot language. So it has always given me my career, my children, my family have always inspired me to be stronger in the language. But not only that, because of it has made me unique in my career, and it has given me the opportunity to communicate with others who speak Blackfoot. It has given me the opportunity to be part of ceremony. The language teaching and learning are very important aspects of where we are situated in Blackfoot territory. So, but more importantly, the Blackfoot language is considered an endangered language by UNESCO, where only the older people speak the language. I think that may be changing, maybe not fast enough, but I think there are resources, and part of developing resources is that young people, no matter who they are, have the opportunity to learn the language and experience the language. So with that, I thank you. I thank you for listening and being part of language learning. Itsinika'si Han.